Welcome back. Today I have 3 stories on black magic. If you don't believe in black magic, you definitely need to watch this. Thank you and enjoy. I've always prided myself on being a man of logic and reason, scoffing at superstitions and dismissing the existence of the supernatural. But my unwavering belief in the tangible world would soon be shattered, plunging me into a nightmarish realm where reality and illusion converged. My name is Jonathan, and my journey into the chilling world of black magic began when I decided to embark on a solo backpacking adventure. Intrigued by the mysteries of remote villages and ancient folklore, I found myself drawn to a secluded hamlet nestled deep in the heart of a dense forest. Upon arriving at the village, I was met with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion from the wary residents. Despite their reticence, I was granted a humble lodging in the home of a local priest, Father Miguel. As the village's spiritual leader, he was revered for his deep knowledge of ancient rituals and folklore, including the dark arts. Despite my initial skepticism, I found myself captivated by Father Miguel's tales of the supernatural. He spoke of vengeful spirits, malevolent curses, and the existence of a veil that separated the living from the dead. With each story, I found myself questioning my beliefs, my skepticism wavering. One night, a chilling wind swept through the village, and Father Miguel invited me to join him in a mysterious ritual. I hesitated but couldn't resist the allure of the unknown. He promised me that witnessing the ritual would finally lay to rest any doubts I had about the existence of black magic. As we gathered in a secluded clearing under the shadow of the moon, Father Miguel began the ritual. He chanted ancient incantations, the words reverberating through the darkness. A sense of unease washed over me, but I remained steadfast, refusing to show fear. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted, and an eerie silence descended upon us. I felt an inexplicable heaviness in the air, as though an invisible force was watching from the shadows. My heart raced, and I struggled to suppress the rising panic within me. Then, as if summoned from the depths of darkness itself, a figure emerged from the inky blackness. It was a creature unlike anything I had ever seen, tall and imposing, with fiery red eyes that seemed to pierce through my very soul. My breath caught in my throat, and a primal fear gripped me. Father Miguel greeted the entity with reverence, addressing it as Malthus, the Veil Keeper. I couldn't believe my eyes. The creature was the very manifestation of the supernatural beings I had dismissed as folklore. The Veil Keeper spoke in a voice that sent shivers down my spine. It told tales of ancient bargains and pacts with mortals, of secrets buried in the heart of the forest, and of the true nature of the village's rituals. My skepticism crumbled before the undeniable truth. The dark arts were real, and I was now a witness to their malevolent power. Terrified and entranced, I listened to the Veil Keeper's chilling revelations, revealing that Father Miguel had long been a practitioner of black magic. The rituals he performed were not mere superstitions but dangerous invocations of malevolent forces. The Veil Keeper's gaze fell upon me, and I felt a darkness seeping into my very being. Its fiery eyes bore into my soul, probing the depths of my thoughts and fears. I knew that it sensed my disbelief, my skepticism, and it relished in the opportunity to cast doubt upon my convictions. As the ritual concluded, I stumbled back, my mind reeling from the night's events. I sought solace in the comforting embrace of the familiar, but the village I had once perceived as quaint and charming now felt sinister and forbidding. I confronted Father Miguel, demanding the truth. At first, he denied any involvement with black magic, but the veil of deception was thinning, and the truth spilled forth like a torrential storm. In a moment of weakness and desperation, Father Miguel had turned to the dark arts to gain power and control. He confessed to summoning the Veil Keeper, believing that the malevolent entity would serve as a means to fulfill his desires. But the price he had paid was far greater than he could have ever imagined. The darkness had taken root within him, transforming him into a mere puppet of the sinister forces he had summoned. I knew I had to escape the village, to leave behind the horror I had witnessed. But as I journeyed away, I couldn't shake the feeling that the malevolent forces I had encountered would forever haunt my dreams. My beliefs had been shattered, my skepticism replaced by a chilling realization: there are forces beyond our comprehension, lurking in the shadows, waiting to ensnare those who dare to peer beyond the veil of the unknown. Now, I carry with me the burden of knowledge, a constant reminder that the line between the tangible world and the realm of black magic is far thinner than we can ever imagine. My journey had led me to question the very essence of reality, leaving me to wonder if some mysteries are best left unsolved and some beliefs best left unchallenged. The chilling encounter with the Veil Keeper would forever serve as a haunting reminder of the chilling night I ventured into the world of black magic and had my skepticism shattered. I never believed in the supernatural, dismissing tales of black magic and witchcraft as mere folklore and urban legends. But that all changed when I stumbled upon an old and tattered book in the basement of my ancestral home. Little did I know that opening that ancient tome would unleash a sinister force that would haunt my every waking moment. The book was bound in worn leather, adorned with strange symbols etched into its surface. As I leafed through its yellowed pages, the words seemed to dance before my eyes, ancient incantations and forbidden knowledge calling out to me from the shadows of history. Curiosity consumed me, and against my better judgment, I began to read the passages aloud. Each word felt like a whisper in the darkness, sending shivers down my spine. I thought it was all a silly game, an attempt to frighten myself for the thrill of it. But the events that followed defied all rational explanation. That night, as I lay in bed, I heard faint whispers echoing through the walls. Soft, haunting voices that seemed to emerge from the very fabric of the house itself. At first, I dismissed it as my imagination playing tricks on me, but the whispers persisted, growing louder with each passing night. Soon, I noticed strange occurrences around the house, objects moving on their own, cold drafts in rooms with no open windows, and unexplained shadows darting through the corners of my vision. The once welcoming home now felt like a prison of malevolent energy. With each passing day, I felt a growing sense of unease, as though an unseen presence was watching my every move. Sleep eluded me, and the nightmares that plagued my dreams seemed to blur the line between reality and the supernatural. In desperation, I sought help from a local historian, hoping to unravel the mystery behind the cursed book. He revealed that the tome was an ancient grimoire, a book of black magic once wielded by a malevolent sorcerer who had been banished from the village centuries ago. According to the legend, the sorcerer had sought immortality and dark powers, invoking sinister forces from the netherworld. His thirst for dominance led him to commit unspeakable atrocities, and in the end, he paid the ultimate price, his soul condemned to an eternity of torment. The historian warned me that by reading the incantations aloud, I had unwittingly awakened the malevolent spirit of the sorcerer, releasing him from the confines of the book. As the days passed, the haunting escalated, and I became a prisoner in my own home. The sinister presence grew more aggressive, its whispers turning into malicious threats. My sanity began to crumble under the relentless assault of fear and terror. Determined to break free from the curse, I sought guidance from a local exorcist, who advised me to perform a ritual to banish the vengeful spirit. The ritual involved purifying the house with holy water, reciting prayers, and creating a protective circle with salt. The night of the ritual arrived, and with trembling hands, I followed the exorcist's instructions. The air was heavy with tension as I stepped into the circle of protection, clutching the grimoire in my hands. The house seemed to creak and groan, as though resisting the impending confrontation. With each prayer, the malevolent presence grew stronger, fighting back against the forces of good. The whispers escalated into guttural cries of rage, and the walls seemed to vibrate with the dark energy. But I refused to succumb to fear. Fueled by desperation and a glimmer of hope, I chanted the incantations provided by the exorcist, calling upon the power of light to banish the darkness. In a final surge of energy, the house trembled, and an otherworldly shriek filled the air. The malevolent presence dissipated like smoke, leaving behind an eerie silence that was both haunting and peaceful. As the first rays of dawn broke through the darkness, I knew that the curse had been broken. The malevolent spirit had been banished back to the netherworld, and the house was finally free from its sinister grip. But the experience had left an indelible mark on my soul. I had glimpsed the darkness that lay hidden in the shadows, and I knew that the world held mysteries far beyond our comprehension. I learned that some legends held a grain of truth, and that the supernatural was not to be trifled with. From that day on, I vowed to respect the ancient wisdom that warned against dabbling in black magic. I had narrowly escaped the clutches of a malevolent force, but I knew that others might not be as fortunate. The whispers from the shadows would forever echo in my memory, a haunting reminder of the night I confronted the darkness and emerged with newfound respect for the unknown. I had always been a rational person, dismissing tales of black magic and the supernatural as mere figments of the imagination. The concept of communicating with the dead seemed ludicrous, a desperate ploy by those seeking solace in their grief. That was until an inexplicable encounter shattered my skepticism, altering the course of my life forever. My name is Emma, and I lost my mother tragically in a car accident when I was just a child. As the years passed, the pain of her absence remained a constant companion, but I buried my grief deep within, refusing to let it define me. One fateful night, however, my skepticism would be put to the test. Alone in my childhood home during a thunderstorm, the flickering candles casting eerie shadows across the walls, I received an unexpected phone call. The caller ID displayed unknown, but something compelled me to answer. "Hello?" I said hesitantly. A soft voice replied, "Emma, my dear." My heart stopped. The voice sounded hauntingly familiar, like a long-lost melody from my past. "Mom?" I whispered, hardly daring to believe what I was hearing. "Yes, my darling," she replied gently. "I've missed you." Tears welled in my eyes as I struggled to comprehend the impossible. It had to be a cruel prank, I thought, or a coincidental voice resembling my mother's. But as the conversation unfolded, my skepticism crumbled like a fragile facade. She spoke of cherished memories only she and I could have shared, secrets that only a mother and daughter could know. I clung to every word, my heart torn between the joy of hearing her voice again and the fear of what this encounter meant. Mom assured me that she was at peace, watching over me from beyond the veil. But the revelation came with a warning. A sinister force had bridged the gap between the living and the dead, twisting black magic to their dark purpose. They sought to manipulate and control, drawing unsuspecting souls into their grasp. Determined to protect me, Mom urged me to seek the guidance of an elderly neighbor, Mrs. Jenkins, known in the village for her deep knowledge of the supernatural. Skeptical as I was, I couldn't ignore the urgency in my mother's voice. The following day, I paid Mrs. Jenkins a visit, cautiously sharing the events of the previous night. To my surprise, she didn't dismiss my story as the product of an overactive imagination. Instead, she nodded gravely, affirming the existence of dark magic and the malevolent spirits it could summon. Mrs. Jenkins had long been a guardian of the village, protecting its residents from malevolent forces. As she looked into my eyes, I felt a strange connection, as if she knew me on a profound level. "Emma, my dear," she said, her voice brimming with compassion. "The spirits sometimes choose to communicate with those they leave behind. But not all that seems to be a blessing is truly benign. You must be cautious and trust your instincts." Intrigued yet wary, I delved into the world of black magic and its chilling implications. With Mrs. Jenkins as my guide, I learned about the dark rituals that could summon spirits from the beyond. But as we dug deeper, I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching us, a malevolent presence lurking just beyond our sight. It became evident that the malevolent force that had reached out to me was not my mother but a dark entity masquerading as her. The realization sent a chill down my spine, and I knew I had to protect myself and those I loved. In the days that followed, Mrs. Jenkins taught me ancient rituals of protection, weaving intricate wards and charms to shield my home from malevolent forces. But the shadowy entity was relentless, seeking ways to break through the defenses we had erected. Haunted by my encounter, I grew increasingly isolated, consumed by the chilling reality that dark forces lurked in the shadows of our world. The line between reality and the supernatural blurred, and I felt as though I was losing myself in the midst of it all. In my pursuit of the truth, I uncovered a dark secret from my past, a family history intertwined with a lineage of witchcraft and the power to bridge the gap between the living and the dead. The truth sent shockwaves through my soul, leaving me grappling with my identity and my place in a world where black magic threatened to engulf me. In the end, I faced a choice: to embrace the legacy of my family and wield my newfound power against the malevolent force, or to turn away from the darkness and seek solace in the light. As the storm raged on outside, I stood at the crossroads of my destiny, torn between the shadows of my past and the uncertain future ahead. I knew that whatever path I chose, my encounter with black magic and the spirits of the dead had forever changed the course of my life. The veil between worlds had been lifted, and there was no turning back. Thank you so much for joining me on this thrilling journey through the world of horror and suspense. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to stay updated on all my spooky content. If you're craving more hair-raising tales and heart-pounding adventures, check out the suggested videos on your screen right now.